You may love those fresh, juicy green grapes, but you can never guess what really goes into it. Well, we're here to show how those fresh grapes and delicious wine come into play, and no, it's not as disgusting as you've thought. All that weed control, fertilizers, and much more care comes along if we want to enjoy the best fruit of our lives. Indeed, it's a much more emotional time for farmers because now they know and a deep color that makes them perfect for everything from juice to wine. The machine moves through the rows of vines, so it can work both ways. Instead of cutting the grapes off, the machine gently shakes the vines. This shaking is just enough to loosen the ripe grapes from their stems. Sometimes it's hard to express how grateful we are for the love you're showing us. Please stay with us till the end of the video to discover the amazing strategies used in food factories. As soon as they've arrived, those tons of grapes roll through a bunch of hands, so only good grapes make it till the end. These advanced machines are gently taking the grapes towards their thorough bath so they get cleaned up after their journey from the vineyard. Soaking them for a bit enhances. It goes through screening, filtering, and all those necessary techniques to make it residue-free. And it's still grape juice, not wine, yet. Look at that wastage being repurposed for literally many global needs, while on the other hand, we have that clear grape juice ready to be transformed into delicious wine. Produces carbon dioxide as a byproduct. Even in regular winemaking or juice production, the release of carbon dioxide helps stir and mix the liquid. And that fermentation process that looked so simple was actually the matter of months step by step. But when it comes to pasta and its sauce, things aren't as bad as you might think. Well, to get all those answers, we have stepped into their farms where they grow the majority of their tomatoes. Before even a single tomato reaches the factory, there's a harvesting race happening out in the fields. It's basically a giant mechanical buddy rolling through rows of tomato plants, shaking the vines so fast that only the ripest tomatoes fall off. These harvesters use vibration technology. They shake the plants just enough to loosen ripe tomatoes while leaving unripe ones behind. Yeah, dude, coming to that delicious sauce making, and even the factory-made sauce will look this much delicious. Now comes the real test. Seasoning. Workers reach for pre-measured trays of salt, sugar, and other spices for flavor. Layer by layer, the machines stop stirring when it's ready. But before it goes anywhere, it needs to be sealed up perfectly. And that's where the bottling process begins. But this factory does something different. Every single hour wouldn't work here. It would make the pasta too soft and mushy after cooking, so they take out the durum wheat. First, the wheat goes through a series of sifters and air blowers that remove any dirt or leftover husks. Then, the cleaned grains move into huge steel roller mills. The pasta is cooked for just the right amount of time, usually between 2 minutes to 3 minutes. This is far shorter than what you do at home because factory pasta doesn't need to be fully soft. It just needs to be pre-cooked. And after that, a chilled bath to stop the cooking process. Now comes the moment when everything comes together. Penne and red sauce finally meet. The pasta needs to be portioned perfectly, the sauce must be hot and evenly distributed, and every tray has to look identical. The machine is designed to scoop out the exact amount of pasta needed for each meal tray. But how does it measure it so precisely? They use weight sensors to ensure each portion is identical. Steady supply of the highest quality ingredients, often sourced from specialized producers worldwide. As soon as they bring in their gathered ingredients, the dough mixing begins. They use industrial-sized mixers that can handle hundreds of kilograms of dough at once. Despite the scale, timing is super crucial. The dough must rest for a specific duration, often between 12 to 20 hours, to allow the natural yeast to ferment and create that iconic light and airy texture. Preparations often begin as early as July or August. Bulk orders for key ingredients are placed months ahead to avoid shortages. Factories also ramp up staffing during this period, hiring seasonal workers and training them to handle the production surge. While I also heard some factories produce up to 50% of their yearly panettone output in the last quarter of the year. Once the dough is ready, it's divided into individual portions using automated cutting and shaping machines. These machines are precise to the gram, ensuring uniformity in size and weight. The shaped dough is then placed into panettone molds, those iconic tall paper cases that give the bread its distinct, the fruits and other additions to fully integrate into the dough as it rises. Panettone is baked in large ovens designed to accommodate hundreds of loaves at a time. These ovens must have rotating racks or conveyor systems to ensure even baking. The dome-shaped top of panettone is often hand-scored before baking to encourage even rising. After baking, panettone loaves are cooled with a unique technique, the upside-down method. This prevents the delicate airy structure from collapsing as it cools. They use special racks with hooks that hold the loaves in place during this process. Cooling takes several hours, and skipping this step could result in dense, deflated loaves. During the holiday season, factories often operate 24/7 with shifts running around the clock to They use some high-quality cocoa beans with a high cocoa butter content, which melts smoothly but doesn't completely dissolve into the dough for that added deliciousness. chocolate panettone has gained popularity in non-traditional markets like the US and Asia, appealing to those who prefer indulgent flavors over fruity ones. Once portioned, each dough piece is pre-shaped into a loose round. This step helps create surface tension. Out in the apple orchards, it's harvest time. Wait, for those store-bought caramel apples? Dude, you gotta be kidding. Who buys that? Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there before you judge. Let's give them a chance to prove why we should buy from them this time. To take out those apples from the trees, they'll be using some mesmerizing techniques that's not something you'd casually see everywhere. Thud. The trucks hauled them in large bins, stacked neatly to avoid unnecessary bruising, but as soon as they arrived at the factories, they were dunked in water. Now, as the apples roll onto a conveyor belt, they pass through a series of soft bristle rotating brushes. These aren't just for extra cleaning. They remove to the station where they get their signature wooden sticks. They pass through a machine that lines them up stem side up. If you've ever wondered why caramel apples always have the stick in the perfect center, this is why factories don't just push sticks in randomly. And what about the sticks themselves? They're usually made from birch or bamboo, chosen for their strength and smooth texture. Thickness. It's the kind of thing you could stare at for hours. Then, one by one, they descend into the warm, velvety caramel. The moment they make contact, the caramel ripples, clings, and slowly wraps itself around the apple like a thick, glossy blanket, and makes them look as tempting as they taste. Every single apple gets wrapped in a clear plastic shell individually, perfectly shaped like an apple. And for little friends, they usually coat the apples with chocolate chips, Smarties, and treats like these, so the kids can also enjoy caramel apples, but with their favorite candies.